Hi guys, I wanted to talk very quickly about this scene. I've talked about it before, and there's still the same interpretation, but I believe that it joins up with the Super Bowl and the football game and everything else that's happening on February 3rd, the volcanic eruption. Also looking out for asteroid impact. I was looking out for one on the 21st of January during the blood moon eclipse. Reports come out that a meteor hit the moon during the eclipse. But I believe that if it's the 21st of January on the Julian calendar and it's the 3rd of February on the Gregorian calendar, they may try and replicate the eclipse with a meteor or asteroid passing in front of the moon this time rather than having it hit the moon. So, you guys, for this scene, when it starts, pay attention to the guy's eyes because wherever he looks is basically wherever you need to pay attention. So at this point, he's looking up here towards this area here where the light is kind of shining. And what you'll notice when he shifts his eyes down a little bit, he's looking at this point here. And basically it's two marks of one, which I'm interpreting as two. You have that at the beginning of the video as well, which I pointed out before in the snow. You have the same kind of marking 1 and 1, which, you know, looking at February basically, because that's kind of the end of the timeline, end of the year of the dog, beginning of the year of the pig, and where we believe this kind of events are going to take place. Also on his chin is the number 3, and that's again a similar event at the beginning of the video. You have the 1-1 mark in the snow and you have the 3 in the snow. So February the 3rd, that's what I'm looking at there. He's holding the hammer and sickle, which is a representation of Russia or the Soviet Union, but they're also digging tools. So I've interpreted that this is a interpretation of an immigrant digging underground tunnel to try and get into the United States, I'm assuming. And they're going under the Rio Grande, and they, hit into the Rio Grande power plant. And I say that because it all just seems to tie together. You've got the border, possibility of tunnels being dug underneath to get across the border, the Rio Grande River, and in close proximity, the Rio Grande power plant. So if all of those things are in, one location, and you have the situation of illegal immigration happening at the same time and being a big topic, one for which a national emergency could be declared, then it hits all the right points, and that could occur on February the 3rd, along with everything else that's happening, so there's really a lot of things to look out for. As the scene evolves, his eyes shift to another location, which is over here, and very quickly you see form what looks like a bomber, and out of the bomber 2 bombs drop out. I wasn't quick enough to catch it, but 2 bombs drop out, and next to it you've got again the hammer and the sickle, but this could also be interpreted as a letter D. So in conjunction with the 2 and the letter D, you could interpret that as February the 4th, and obviously that flows chronologically, February the 3rd to February the 4th. Maybe if things are happening on February the 3rd, domes collapsing in both the United States and the UK, volcanoes erupting, maybe an asteroid or meteor impact, tsunami or tsunamis, if there's more than one volcano erupting, and the possibility of earthquakes, then you've got a lot of potential for people, other countries in the game to take advantage of the situation. And Russia may launch some form of attack that may be in South America, could be around Venezuela. Coincidentally, they recently sent 2 bombers similar to this over to Venezuela to dissuade the United States from involving themselves militarily. And who knows, if this situation occurs on the 3rd, the United States might, move forward with the military, and then that could garner a response from Russia on the 4th. And I say Russia obviously because of the hammer and sickle reference to the Soviet Union, and that would tie into the 5th, where I think that Russia comes forward with the submarines. We have the devastating Poseidon drone used to create a tsunami on the East Coast, or more locally New York, as that's referenced quite heavily. But I've also got a scenario in mind because obviously Donald Trump, if nothing happens up until then, he'll be given a State of the Union. And I feel like that's kind of what's going on in the beginning of the video here, along with, you know, a multitude of different references. He's clearly addressing an audience, and the audience is blue, you know, reference to Democrats and talking about border security and the wall and stuff like that. And, you know, if things have happened on the 3rd and, you know, kind of like a little war is kicking off with Russia around the 4th, this could be his topic around the 5th. And we have that reference on his eyebrow here, the number 5. So it could be saying, you know, February the 5th, State of the Union, something happens, live national television. They, even on the news, they recently started talking about this new technology called deep fake. And basically it's CGI kind of imaging, taking other people's faces and putting them onto other people's bodies and making it look really real. So it could be something like that, a live audience or a live television broadcast, but using deep fake technology to make it look like something happens to Donald Trump, and then the electricity goes out. So while everyone's thinking what just happened, boom, the TV goes off and you're thinking, okay, what's happening? And then the tsunami comes. And that's how I feel the scenario will happen. I don't think the tsunami comes before the electricity goes out, because they're aiming for maximum devastation. So without the electricity, you know, situations like that suddenly become 10 times worse, because one, you're not able to get the communications of warnings, but even after the event, basic necessities like even away from the coast, you could get help at hospitals and stuff like that. They'll have emergency generators and things, but you know, they won't last for that long. There's a lot of climactic, apocalyptic potential that evolves out of having no electricity. You kind of saw that with Puerto Rico. If the United States wasn't there to offer support and other countries weren't there to offer support, that situation would be extremely different. And as I said before, I believe that was a test run for what they really want to do. So, along with everything else, as I said, keep an eye out for a nuclear incident on February the 3rd involving immigration, tunnels, the Rio Grande. It could be another location, but this one seems to fit all the pieces. And then obviously following from that, the timeline is the same in terms of looking out for the different events leading up to the 5th, and China coming forward as it moves into the year of the pig and war beginning in earnest. That's not the end of where things don't end there. That's kind of just the beginning of where I think World War III really kicks off, and China moves into the South China Sea, taking over Japan, North Korea, South Korea, Taiwan. Russia moves into Ukraine and Poland, and the EU go forward to try and stop them there. India and Pakistan, they're always on tension. If everything's kicking off, they may kick off as well. Iran, Israel, Saudi Arabia, Syria, Hezbollah. There's the whole Middle East region to go up. The only part of this video that I haven't really talked about, and the reason I haven't talked about it is because my interpretations for it are minimal, is this scene here. I know there's a reference to an upside down cross, that's like Antichrist. We've got skull and crossbones, you know, Freemasonry and stuff like that. There's the red eyes, the vacantness, basically mind taken over, the guns given to children in terms of child soldiers. There's all these markings on his arm. One that stands out is the 2 markings and the V. And that just stands out to me because I'm looking at this timeline from February the 3rd to February the 5th, and that would come into February the 5th where everything else is happening, war is really going, so that might make sense. Something on the continent of Africa is what I assume we're looking at here. Tsunami in the background, I think. So that could either be related to an eruption from Cumbre Vieja, which is next to the coast of Africa, the west coast of Africa, or it could be connected to the tsunami in the Mediterranean and the volcano Mount Etna, as we have reference to Egypt being flooded, which is on the coast of the Mediterranean. So it's possible that we're getting this scene, which is maybe a different part of the coast of Africa connected to the Mediterranean. I've still got work to do on this, but I'm definitely, at least I can say, it's child soldiers. And actually, just the last reference to that is the amount of children that go missing every year. To me, when I look at this list, I can't help but think of a massive army being built somewhere with these children that have been separated from, love and compassion, and they're just brought up in a warlike state of mind. They have no loyalties to anyone but their commanders, and you know, these are the children that will turn into the men of tomorrow that will be used as soldiers to fight against people like us. And it's such a shame. Uh, and when you look at the list, you can see like if you think of it as them building an army with all these missing children, they can't all be dead. I don't believe that every year just gone without any explanation can't be found. That's obviously the definition of missing. But as I was saying, it looks like the biggest contributors to the missing children are the two countries that are the furthest developed, have the most technology, are the most advanced. Yet the amount of children going missing from the two countries is staggering. 112,853 from the United Kingdom and 460,000 from the United States every year. So you can only imagine if even a portion of these children are being taken and used for nefarious purposes. That is a lot of children being turned into soldiers. Hope and pray against it. You guys have a good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and may the Heavenly Father bless you.